it's not always about your job role. It's about you as an individual.
Young people do that because they want to see how far their social is willing to go.
We have to help these young people prepare for real life.
You know what? There's more to us than just kicking a football and just rapping.
Yeah.
As a black man, I can be educated. What you saying, people?
Yes. How you doing, bro?
You're right, man.
I'm there, man. Listen, I'm cool, you know. This year I'm just cool.
No, I'm good as well.
Yeah.
Bro, our last episode, bro, anyway, innit? Now I'm blessed in it.
Right, so listen, I've got to put it out there now because I think people them have to know, right? Yeah, another thing, right? Yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of good things happening this year.
Yeah.
And also as well, me and Nana have been approached, you know, to go into like schools, universities, and I would say other educational social care establishments. That make it. So it is consultancy work that we're doing. Yeah. And I have to say that again. It's consultancy work we're doing. Okay. All right. So feel free to email us and ask us about any workshops or if we want to come and give a talk. Yeah. But it will be regarded as consultancy work. You know,
I've gone back into lecturing as well, innit?
To tell the people then.
Yeah, people, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I've gone back into lecturing.
You're right, yeah.
So
yeah. So listen, if you want to book Nana, do contact us. And because listen, and this is me, okay, on a real, we do offer a very skilled and a very different sort of expertise.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
All right. And as I said before, if you do want, Nana to come into school or myself, whatnot, do feel free to contact us. And, I do feel that there isn't many businesses or consultancy work or even, I suppose, establishments going into the universities and talking to them from an angle that we're talking to, you know.
It's true.
I do feel extra training to education and social care students is important.
It is, yeah.
And I do feel it does need to come from like a different angle.
It does,
rather than your typical normal things that I suppose take place in it.
No, I agree with you. But and we've got a lot of projects coming up and a lot of collaboration, and a lot of events as well that are coming up.
Yeah.
As well, do you know what I mean? So so definitely. But guys, you know what to do.
Have you come back from Ghana yet?
Oh no, bro, I'm back from Ghana, you know. Listen, I'm back from Ghana, boy. Listen, I missed
Nana's my guy, you know.
Listen, bro, I missed the heat. Bro,
I might come with you this year, you know.
Nah, definitely, bro. I missed the heat, bro.
How long did you go for again? How long did you go for?
Bro, I went for 12 days, you know, but that's too short. I went back in December.
Must have been quick though, innit?
Went too quick, bro. Too quick. You can never go to Ghana for 12 days, bro. It was mad in it.
Another thing.
But guys, listen, before we get started, did you hear that, Rob?
Listen, did they hear that?
Guys, did you hear that?
No. The question is there something wrong with their arm? Listen,
it's
Johnny help you, just
it's free, you know. It is free. So guys, again, like, subscribe, share. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram. We are on Spotify.
Yep.
The panel.
Yep.
It's
coming soon.
Panel. There's already one episode out already, bro. Yeah,
panel.
So much more coming.
Panel's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh no. Listen, the panel is going to be groundbreaking.
I know.
I don't think they understand what's about to come.
Listen, you don't know what's happening, guys. The panel's wicked.
Also, as well, we have another show in the works called Sketches. Listen.
Oh, Rob, you don't, bruv. You're letting them know too much, bro.
I know.
Don't let them know about. You see?
Yeah. So
bruv, what's wrong with you, man?
I know. It's the excitement.
Yeah, I know, bro. Listen, man. Listen. Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah.
So Sketches coming soon, innit? Yeah, coming soon, innit? Sketches.
Yeah,
bro, can't tell the people too much, man. Now you're gonna be on the
bruv.
Yeah.
I think we're doing documentaries.
Bro, don't tell them too much in it. There's a lot that's coming, you know. There's a lot. The Social Worker and the Mentor podcast. There's a lot that's coming in it. You can't tell people too much, bro.
It's about being a brand, innit?
Nah, I know what you mean. I know, but guys, all I'm saying to you is that this year there's enough things that are happening.
You gotta be different.
Yeah, and different lane, innit? You know what I'm saying?
No. Create the lane.
That's true, you know. Create the lane, innit? Create the space.
Yeah.
So, right. But thank you guys for the support as well. Guests, social worker and the mentor, the social worker and mentor at gmail.com. Yeah, so you can DM us or DM us on our Instagram. We're very active. We'll respond, innit?
Yeah.
Students, teachers, whoever, message us, innit?
And you know what? Just continuing on from that. I want to hear from. I mean, look, we've got loads of pending guests already lined up. But if you're from the foster care system, the semi-independent system, the youth offending system, from CAMS, NHS nurses,
or if you, and
a
also
solicitor, a judge,
also care leavers
as
well. Yeah, we want a range of people to come on. It's important, you know. So nah, so much thing to do.
But yeah, man.
Anyway, bruv, Rob, what I wanted to talk about today is actually early intervention.
Yeah.
I think early intervention is a key part of the work that we do, and it's quite prevalent because it's about getting in there early.
100%.
With a lot of the cases in children that we work with. So, you know, as you know, innit, across education and also across social care, social care, most local authorities or all local authorities should have an early help service. Do you know what I mean? Which is just before it comes to social services, or you have an inclusion. So you're starting off like pretty much tier 1, and it's just more about discussing kind of like the importance of it, because I think it's a big. It's not a big issue, but it's about, Rob, how do we continue to work and disrupt those ties or prevent things from escalating in the future? Because I think being a social worker, there's lots of cases, bruv, that I've worked, and you look at the child and young person, and from the very beginning, you can see where it was going and you can see the patterns, but it was like, could we have got in there earlier to do the work? Do you know what I mean? Could we have tried in the very, very beginning? What could we have done to prevent it going this way? Do you know what I mean? I mean, what's your experience?
All right, so early years, or early intervention. It's a little bit difficult, like where to start with this, because it's very, especially now in 2023, it's very complex. Yeah, it's very, very complex, bruv. There is no normal standard scenario in a case that you deal with a young person and a family. Yeah, there's always, unfortunately, and I don't like to say, there's always like there's no father figure in the family, or mum, or there's a broken home. The parents are not together. The children might have a form of mental health. Yeah, the child might have a disability, such as autism, Asperger's, or ADHD, or disability, whatever, whatnot. Yeah. So it's very, very hard. Then you have early years where we're talking from primary school. Yeah. Now, if we're talking about primary school now, I believe there's not enough being done in primary schools.
I agree.
As you know, my forte is I work with behaviour or young people with behaviour issues.
Because you are an early years practitioner as well.
Yeah. But
could you explain to the people what is an early years what is an early years practitioner? How would you define their role? So what would the early years practitioner be doing, or what is their generic role?
Yeah. So my apologies. Sorry. So depending on the age of the young person, where it's from. Okay, so let's say like 5 to 10. Let's say 10 to 15. Okay, right, yeah. All right. So let's say primary school. Yeah. Okay, right, yeah. So primary school. So you've got Timmy. Timmy is in year 6. Okay, yeah. He's about to go to secondary school. Okay, right, yeah. Timmy's got severe behavior issues. Timmy's telling the teacher, "Go suck out, man. Shut up. You're a waste man." I've got to tell you a funny story after, by the way. In fact, no, let me tell you the story. It's actually a true story. Yeah. But I'll just... All right, so there was a young person, and he said to the head teacher, "Keep your pants on." And he got excluded for telling the teacher to keep your pants on. So I said to him, "Why did you say... What made you say keep your pants on?" Because he's always tight, man. He's always tight. So I laughed. Right, yeah? I laughed. Because obviously, I find it humorous. Yeah. But then I have to make him understand that you can't tell your head teacher...
Keep your pants on.
Keep your pants on, okay, all right, yeah, all right. So my role would be to, okay, how do I assist this young person and the family with behaviour, accountability, and structure, and strategizing a timetable that's going to help this young person to help identify his identity, his behaviour needs, and giving him some guidance, whatever, whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would need to know, okay, is there a social worker involved? Yes or no? If no, okay, there's no social worker involved.
But at that point, early years, potentially, there may not be a social worker involved.
There may not be, depending on the age, right? Yeah,
depending on the age, yeah.
Right. So if there's not, it's about me formulating a team. So when I mean by formulating a team, formulating would be the parent and the school, right? Yeah.
So what is that? If you could explain to me, what is that? So we're talking about TAF.
Yeah,
team around the family or team around a child, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
or team around family. Yeah.
So now, depending on how supportive, and I'm going to be very careful and very mindful, but also be very honest. Depending on how much support the school give, will also depend how far the child's progression will go.
Okay.
Because as we know, sometimes the school do not have the capacity and the staff to give the young person extra support. Now, if the child has a disability, such as, all right, there's physical and there's non-physical, isn't there? Mm-hmm. So you might have a disability, you know, or you might have ADHD.
Yeah.
You might have autism. You might have mental health. Okay, yeah? Now, as we know, there's a thing called an education healthcare plan.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got that in place, the young person's good to go in terms of getting the right and correct support.
Yeah.
But if the person hasn't got that, the support can be a little bit more harder.
Yeah.
So then what I would have to do is contact a outside agency, you know, or a charity. It may be like a St. Giles or like a Each or Barnardo's.
Yeah.
You know, them sort of services, or youth panels or youth justice panels in the area or whatnot. But this is me just explaining it from, I suppose, an inclusion mentor point of view. Right, yeah? I do feel that with early intervention or from a social worker point of view, it's similar, but there are some things that we might not do exactly the same. Do you understand? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So I do feel that, I suppose, in the way that you might do it, because of your job role. Because of your job role. It doesn't mean that me and you won't do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But because of your job role, you might do it specifically a little bit more different. You might go straight to... you will contact the parent first of all. Then you'll obviously contact the school.
Yeah.
But once again, it's about, okay, how much support is...
Well, that's what I wanted to get to, because I think when you look at early intervention, it's about how can you prevent things from escalating, whereby actually it goes into the remit of social care. Because one of the things, Rob, that I would say, you know, in all the cases that I've worked over the years, is that there's an origin to, you know, when you work with young people. And when you look at their chronology or trajectory, and say, for example, when they're teenagers and they might be open to social services, and actually a lot of those concerns are present now. One thing social workers do, and I always do, is that you always look back at the beginning. And sometimes you look and you go and say, you know what, actually, early intervention service should have been involved. Now, one of the things, Rob, I'm going to say about early intervention is sometimes, in some cases, early intervention is non-statutory. So there's times about actually parents might have an early intervention worker and they say, actually, you know what, it's not needed.
Yeah.
But what I tend to find a lot is that when cases start to come back, and early intervention have been involved, you know, and are trying to sometimes work with families. Sometimes actually the case becomes too much. Early intervention have to progress the case. And, you know, I think I saw a while back, one of fellow podcast, social work podcast, how, you know, particularly working with young people who become gang affected, and talking about actually the importance of early intervention, because it's also about identifying at the early stage what is the hierarchy of need for that child or young person. So if any of you know the model, Maslow's hierarchy of need, you know of the model, the triangle, that triangle there, and you learn it at university, Maslow's hierarchy of need, in terms of, you know, what is a specific need for that young person, you know, because the triangle's there and it's got different layers in terms of self-esteem, behavior, health needs, all those sorts of things. It's important that we identify it early. That model is very, very actually important in terms of when early practitioners, they do their it's EHA, so early help assessments, to try and target or disrupt those ties, particularly, bro, when you can see the patterns are happening. I think in the kind of line of work we do, early intervention is essential, and I think it's not always appreciated enough. Because there's some cases, bro, when they get to social workers, and you can see, actually, you know what, early intervention should have happened. You know, whenever you work with young people, you know, and you look from the very beginning, you can see, all right, you know what, we did not disrupt that tie early enough. You know?
I'm gonna do a little bit of a 360 on this, not on purpose though, right? Yeah, and I'm gonna bring it back to education, and the reason why I'm gonna bring it back to education is because we spoke about the school curriculum, and I think early intervention should be a necessity anyway. I think there's been so much madness and craziness in the world, and that we're having to deal with, right? Yeah. So as we know, I remember going to a party about 2 or 3 years ago, and this little boy, he's probably about 8 years old, and he's you went, but where'd you get them Balenciagas from? I'm getting a pair, you know. I'm thinking, what? Do you even know how to spell Balenciaga? Do you know what I mean, right? Yeah. Now, people, I got to tell you, this was 3 years ago, yeah. So I know there's been a whole recent backlash. So no, don't try saying any shots to me, because this is 3 years ago, right? Anyway, but the point I'm trying to make, bruv, is that 3 years ago, when I used to go into like primary schools, a lot of the young people, they talk street culture. They talk gang culture. They know serious lyrics about stabbing man, chefing man, killing. It's normalized behavior. A 7, 8 year old is not supposed to be telling me about, man, I'm getting Balenciaga. What are you talking about? Can you even spell that? Do you know what I mean? So another thing is, well, that's a necessity, and this is also part of early years. This is also part of transition as well, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't feel it's been taught enough in primary schools. Not saying that they don't have the capacity, but it should be a necessary factor. So what I'm about to say is this. So there should be compulsory workshops where you're year 6, you're about to go into year 7 in a primary school, and there will be boys older than you who might try to groom you into being a gang.
Fantastic point.
You're going to learn about friendship groups.
That's right.
You're going to learn about identity. Okay, right, yeah? We spoke about identity. Identity is a massive issue in the world right now. Now, you know, you might be... there's a lot of young people that don't know their sexuality. Very important that I be respectful when I say this as well. But also, I'm just being an honest practitioner, right, yeah? There are a lot of young people, it doesn't matter what colour you are, sexually, they find it hard to identify sexually who they are. Yeah. Now, there are some parents... There are some teachers that are always at logheads, you know, with what they want their child to be taught. You know, who's wrong, who's right. I suppose it's always going to be an argument that nobody really wins. Do you know what I mean, my brother? Right? Yeah. So, but I feel we have to start early in the primary schools.
Yeah, we do.
Because if we start extra early in the primary schools, by the time they get to year 7, 8, we have more of a chance to just sort of like...
And I agree with you, bro, because I think that is one of the key and crucial age, is when we go into the primary schools and we have those discussions with them to make them aware. Because I think most of the issues that we deal with, you know, whether you work in education or you are a social worker, is what you've just said in terms of, you know, the young people learning about the fact that, you know, potentially somebody might say to them, oh, could you come here? Could you run this for me? It is very, very important.
Also as well, you made a point, I can't remember what, when it was again now. I felt now he's on the panel. So another prime example is this. Cause I lost my train of thought now. I hate when I do that, you know.
Go on, it's about the panel, innit? Yeah.
No, it's definitely you said. Right. Okay. So, on the panel, you said something about social media. Yeah. Now, you know, a lot of these young people from ages 8 or 9. Yeah. They're very social media savvy. They're always on their phone. They're always on their TikTok or Instagram, whatever, whatnot. But how many of them know the dangers of online grooming, online child exploitation? How many of them are aware? Is it actually being taught in the primary school. And once again, you know, please, I don't want any teachers or education professional to think I'm having a go. I'm not having a go. This is just me simply, we're having a conversation, but we're also talking about, you know, solutions as well.
Yeah,
you know, right?
Of course.
And I just think if we just attack it early, if we attack all the major safeguarding, you know, factors or issues early, it gives everybody more of a chance.
But also, Rob, you know one thing I have to say, and this is obviously me speaking towards parents as well, because I have to speak towards parents, and this is me speaking as a social worker. I don't know why I said that. I'm a social worker. Speaking as a social worker, but also in my role as a team manager, because one of the things that I find, Rob, with a lot of parents is when cases are stepped up to social care from early intervention services, obviously parents are not happy.
Yeah.
But I have to stress it enough to parents that you need to use early intervention services as much as possible. I know that early intervention is non-statutory.
So to cut you, I think what would be good, name some, like, be a bit more.
No, but I'm gonna broaden it.
Yeah.
When I'm speaking to parents and I'm saying about non-statutory, I mean, local authorities will have an early intervention service. Yeah, so you will have, bruv, like family support workers who were there, and I know there are some parents who go and say, actually, I don't need the support for my children. They're fine. But I have to say to parents that I think it's something that you may have to reconsider. If a referral comes through and actually the case is stepped down and it goes to early intervention, the reason why I will say that is because, brother, be real with you, there's a lot of parents that I've worked with, and down the line when their case,
Good point.
when the case, bro, for their children has gone to child protection, or potentially if that child's gone into care, some of the times I say to the parents, but you know what? Way before I was a social worker, early intervention services were involved on multiple occasions.
100%.
And you said you didn't want any support. Now, you're well within your own right to go and say, you know what, I don't want it because it's non-statutory. Yeah. But potentially what's happened is that those disruption or those patterns that were there could have stopped.
100%.
But I feel as though sometimes with some parents is that, I get it. Yes, you don't want to have a professional involved. Yes, you may not want to have a social worker involved.
You know what it is, bro?
But hold on one second. But early years and family support workers are excellent practitioners that you need to be using, bro. Even, bro, for example, you spoke earlier, bro, about children with special educational needs, and sometimes, bro, those behavioural issues they start. Yeah, they start and I refer them into early intervention, and some parents go and say no. Then years down the line, a social worker comes in, it's CP plan, we're going to court, this and this and this. But you have the chance to utilise early help services to get this assessment in from the root to start. Bruv, it's a big point, bruv, because and it's not about me. I'm not criticizing no parent, but what I'm trying to say is that we're like from the very beginning, from day one, okay, cool, something's happened, and maybe like a referral's been made, and the family support worker's there. Use the family support worker. Use the early intervention services. If they make a referral to Bernardo's, Manhood Academy, whatever mentoring or inclusion, utilize them.
Can I get a bit deeper?
Yeah.
And I feel it's important that I say this as a black man, because I am a black man, I'm a black professional. But sometimes culturally, it's very important that we say certain things. Okay, right, yeah. So you've made a fantastic point, and I think it's actually a necessity that you've actually said this, right, yeah. And I find that with a lot of families that we work with, I work with a lot of African, Caribbean,
families,
ethnic minority, ethnic group families, okay? Whether that be from the Caribbean, Africa, Somalia, Kenya, Bengali, etc., yeah? And a lot of families that I meet, it's pride and ego.
And it's a big problem, bro, in our community with pride and ego. A lot of the black families that I've worked with before, it is a lot of pride and ego. I don't want professional to be involved, but you know what? Sometimes down the line, it's the wrong decision to make, because down the line, that child or young person comes known to social services, and you see from the very, very beginning. This is what I'm trying to say, that one thing social services we always talk about is trajectory and chronology. You look at the past, present, and future, but trajectory.
It's important.
Yeah, the journey. You know, and it's a big issue within our community.
Yeah.
In terms of professional involvement, and I can appreciate, bruv, that in terms of what I'm branching off, but I know the system. I get it, and I know why we have resistance in terms of it.
Yeah.
But at the earliest points, we have to let our guard down so that we can be supported.
But there's a saying, it starts at home. It starts at home.
Yeah.
There's a saying, it starts at home.
Yeah.
I think sometimes what tends to happen with early intervention, right, or early, or, just...
It starts from home,
Just early help, right, yeah? I think, that's what I'm saying, there's so much angles that we can stir or talk about this, because obviously we've got the education side, you've got the social care side.
Yeah.
It just depends how we're starting. But then also there's the home issue, because remember, yes, the young person spends most of the time at school with their friends and their teachers. Most of the time, they spend more time at school than they do at home, right? Yeah, but at the same time as well, it's also a priority and a necessity for a mum and a dad, or father and mother, whatever, whatnot, or carer, whatever, whatnot, to teach the children specific things from early. Yeah. Right? And I think what tends to happen, right, this is also another thing as well, there's a little bit of laziness. Oh, yeah, they do it at school. Or go on your iPad. Yeah? I feel in my line of work that parenting has become lazy. But also parents say to me, Robert, I've got no say. Yeah? I can't hit my child. Well, no, you shouldn't have to hit your child. Yeah? Shouldn't have to hit your child at all. But that goes back to culturally. Another way we can go about this, brother. If we're talking about early years, there's specific cultures where they're teaching their children early about, right, we're from Bangladesh, or we're from Nigeria, or we're from Eritrea. You're going to learn your language. You're going to do half an hour a day to learn our culture of language. Right, yeah? So parenting is also very important in terms of early years.
Early years,
But also, it's up to me and you to tell the parents that, listen, I know they go to school, but listen, what are you doing?
You're right. We
understand,
You're right. We have to be able to have those conversations early with the parents. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that I don't want early intervention to ever be shadowed, because early intervention is very, very essential, and early intervention prevents a lot of cases coming to social care. It really, really does, to be honest with you. And I just want to home in on the fact that actually, we need to we need to actually be getting better at it. To be honest with you, we need to, because I'll be real with you. It's like, a lot of the young people who we see, and there's issues outside of the family home and all those sorts of things there, and it's difficult for parents. We have to disrupt those ties. We have to disrupt those ties, because I remember even you did an interview last year, and you made a point, and this will be in another episode, but you made a point about how you've worked with a lot of young people who've ended up in Feltham, and there isn't any father figures. And one of the things you said in the interview is that when you read through, because you like to read everything in it, so you say everything, that you identified very, very early on when you read through that file, there were problems from the very beginning from primary school, and that was the gap. And we need to close it. That's one of the things which is very powerful, what you said.
But then also as well, my bro, this is another thing as well. Us as professionals. Right? Now, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I've got it wrong. I have got it wrong sometimes, with... I haven't put a strategy in place, or I haven't recognised, I'll tell you what it is. So I'm from an inclusion background, okay? So with inclusion, we are the early intervention.
Yeah, you are.
We're the intervention.
Yeah.
So I don't really...
Family support workers, inclusion. Yeah. You're literally, that's your first base.
So we're like the saviour. We're like the, we're here, that's the situation, Zoom, okay. Do I need to get Nana on board? Do I need to get a social worker on board? Do I need to get CAMS involved?
You're tier one. Your first base.
One.
Yeah, tier one. Yeah,
from,
your first base.
Right.
You are. Yeah.
But I want to know what's happened before.
Yeah.
I want to know. Okay. Hang on, John. What happened? Eric.
Yeah.
No. Leroy.
Yeah.
No.
It's true.
Manda. What happened?
Yeah.
Lorraine. Okay. Oh my God. Nah. We need a professionals meeting. Yeah. And then plan B is, okay, who can I get next to bring some structure?
Yeah.
And some
because you're there as early intervention. You're trying to avoid the what do you call it? You're trying to avoid the case escalating.
Yeah. So de-escalate. Yeah.
Yeah. De-escalate. Yeah, and contain it. Just keep it down.
That's it, man. So But listen, early years it's a necessity, bro.
It is, yeah. It is.
And I think especially now.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to, as a social worker, I need to be saying that we have to give a lot more props to our family support workers, to our early years practitioners, our nursery practitioners. We have to be giving props to them. Do you know what I mean? All those professionals, who are unseen. You know what I'm saying? That you're all very essential and important because, yes, of course, when it comes to it, social work is like one of the faces of it. But those workers there, bruv, they're essential. They are so 100% need. They do fantastic work.
They're like the middlemen.
Yeah. But I also urge, parents and carers and families that if a referral does go through, and early years, if it doesn't come through to social services and it goes through to early years, utilize them. I know you have a decision, and I know that early intervention or early help is non-statutory, but I will urge you to utilize them where you can. And the reason why I'm saying that is because down the line, if those patterns are not disrupted, it's going to be really, really difficult if the concerns for your son or your daughter, they eventually will become a lot more difficult to manage when they become older. You know what I'm saying? So don't say no to the family support worker. Don't say no to the early intervention worker. Get the support you can get as early as possible. It's so essential because it will prevent, and this is a big thing I've got to say, it prevents young people potentially getting involved in criminal activity, coming into local authority care, outside influence. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's so, if you get things at the root early, trust me, it's so important, bro. Because I can't tell you, and I'm speaking to a lot of people, I can't tell you how many times as a social worker whereby I've gone into court or cases have been on child protection plan, and I've read through the case file and I've looked and I'm like, you know what, bro?
There's a lot missing.
There's so much that was missing. Like that child, not that child potentially being failed.
Because look,
do you know what I'm saying?
If we're going deeper, because I know we've got to finish up, but if I'm going deeper now, youth offending. Now,
bruv, bruv, save it. Save it for another episode.
Yeah.
Save it. But I know where you're going. But save it. Yeah.
You're talking about early,
bruv.
A youth offender.
Youth offending, bruv.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Early years. Bruv.
Where to start or judge us coming from, bro.
Bruv, we got to hold that for another episode. We have to. But guys, thank you so much for listening into the social worker and the mentor. Like I said, we really appreciate it. I also want to say, if there's any professional advice that you feel that you want, you can message myself and Robert, because we're both still in practice. Do you know what I mean? You can still speak to myself just outside of it and ask, just advice and opinion. Do you know what I mean? Or for any early years practitioners, thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing. You are an essential part of the work that we do. You're an essential part of social care and education. Keep doing what you're doing. And for parents and carers, again, please utilize early intervention services. It's so important. Family support workers, they're fantastic. But thank you guys. Thank you.
You know the thing already,
See you guys.